Welcome to KAWC's The Hotspot.
I'm Chloe Michael.
And I'm Maya Manry.
Produced by the KAWC Student Newsroom. We look forward to bringing you news that matters to Yuma and the Paws counties.
This week, we hear some fresh perspectives about Yuma. Students from all over the world sharing their experiences. Athletes, the military, and someone that, if you live in the dorms, you might be familiar with. We asked them about what they think of Yuma. Student reporter Chloe Michael spoke with international student and athlete Eileen Mastelich about her experience moving from Switzerland to Yuma.
According to the Higher Ed Immigration Portal, international students represent 5% of total higher education in the U.S. But despite the small percentage, the positive impact they leave on our local communities and our higher education system is significant. We spoke with international student and athlete Eileen Mastelich as she shares her perspectives on what it's like living in Yuma and Switzerland.
Well, I would say the major difference compared to the US is the size. Here, the city's more spread out. It's really big. Back home, it's a bit more, everything is more centered, and also you can access everything by like train or like public transportation. Here, it's a little bit more complicated. You need a car to get around a lot more. For example, to go to games, like probably the farthest I've ever gone for a game, like in Switzerland, would be like a 4-hour drive. Here, almost every game is a 6-hour drive.
For Eileen, basketball wasn't just a sport, but an opportunity to explore new parts of the world. From the KAWC Student Newsroom, I'm Chloe Michael.
For this week's Flash interview, student reporter Chloe Michael spoke with Oliver Gordy, who shares his experience with what it's like growing up as a military kid and how Yuma grew on him.
Hi, welcome to the Flash interview. Can you introduce yourself and what do you do?
I'm Oliver Gordy. Right now I'm unemployed, but I am hopefully going to school here at AWC in the fall.
So are you from Yuma?
I was born in Sierra Vista, Arizona, but I'm a military kid, so I've kind of lived everywhere.
So what's that like being a military kid?
As it was rough just because then I'd have to leave my friends and you're there for like 4 years, so you make like bonds and then you have to leave. I feel like I got to experience a lot of different cultures and whatnot, so it was like very beneficial.
So what was life like before you moved to Yuma?
I was living in Kansas. It was a lot different, total opposite weather and everything like that. But it was a smaller town. I think probably bigger than Yuma. It didn't help me grow as much as Yuma did.
So Kansas and Yuma are drastically different. How so?
It snows in Kansas and we get tornadoes. Also, like the people are different. Like closed off in Kansas. I think people are a lot more like judgy. I don't know how to explain. They just aren't as accepting, I guess, or like uniqueness and like creativity as Yuma is. So, yeah.
So what brought you down here to Yuma?
My dad retired from the Army in Kansas and then ended up getting a job here, and then we ended up moving here.
Thank you so much for your time. If you're a student living at the dormitory here, you might have met Jonathan Guzman, a residential assistant at the Enza dorms. Student reporter Maya Manry has a one-on-one conversation with him about moving to Yuma and the types of students he has met being an RA.
1-2, student interview. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jonathan Guzman. I'm currently majoring in psychology.
And how long have you lived in Yuma?
I've lived in Yuma for 3 years now.
Where are you from originally?
Billings, Montana.
Let's get started with the big question. Why come to Yuma? Why come here specifically?
The reason I came back to Yuma is because back in Montana was only my family, like my main family, and like we just wanted to be closer to our family, so I went back to Yuma, where I have most of my family.
So you've been to Yuma before coming here?
Only when I was 5, but that's it. Most of my life has been majorly in Montana.
How's the living situation differed from here in Arizona, broadly to Montana?
And broadly, if I'm honest, very different, because in Montana it's very humid, a lot of trees, and not warm. So when I came back here, I had a tough time accumulating to like the weather because it was so hot. So I had a really tough time just getting used to like the weather and like how the air felt. Because over here it's dry. Over there it felt like humid. You would sweat from how humid it would be, but over here was dry. Like it was really tough for me.
How much of your schooling did you do in Montana?
Montana, I did elementary to half of high school.
I know that college is different from the lower grades, but do you feel any differences in state education from Montana to Arizona?
If I'm honest, yes. I remember I had a harder time in middle school compared to, let's say, some college assignments here in AWC. Like, I found it tougher in Montana to do education.
Have you met any other people who have transferred here who are not originally from Yuma?
Yes, well, since I work at the dorms, I have met many people for many different reasons why they come to AWC to learn that are from different places in the world.
What is the most common reason you've heard?
The most common reason is either because it's cheaper or because they're doing it for sports, and this is one of the sports scholarships they've gotten. That's good, since they have good programs here at AWC for sports.
And how many of these people are not from the United States?
If a good 70% of them are not from the U.S., like they're from other countries that just came here to study.
You are someone from these states, but even so, do you feel like there could be some culture shock to the people, especially in a town like Yuma, where it's a lot smaller than some of the major cities?
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of the differences, let's say you come from a big city, Yuma's not a big city, at least to me. I feel like it's a lot slower over here. And let's say, like, if you're from, like, somewhere where it's majorly white, like, well, I'm from Montana. And when I came back, like, I barely knew Spanish. But a lot of people here in Yuma speak Spanish. So it's sometimes hard for people to come here and expect that everyone's going to, understand each other. But Yuma's such a weird place where, like, everyone just kind of understands each other even without knowing each other's language.
As someone who works in the dorms, how many times do you interact with someone who might not speak the same language as you? How do you, I would say, make them feel comfortable even though you cannot verbally communicate that?
Every day I talk to everyone in the dorm, like, they know me. I know people that, like, don't speak a speck of English at the start and they start speaking it by the end. Some people refuse, but, like, in the end of the day, they also have to, like, get used to the environment here, and it just depends on, like, how they do it. Like, I welcome people in English. They respond back non-verbally or verbally. They do a good job in, like, making, like, them feel welcome.
How welcoming is Yuma to people from other states and people from other countries?
If I'm honest, it's great. Like, I don't think I could have chosen a better place to be welcome to. Well, Yuma has done a well job to just welcome anybody out of the country or from a different state.
Okay, thank you very much. Could you please reintroduce yourself?
Jonathan Guzman.
Thank you very much.
KAWC's The Hotspot is produced by KAWC Student Newsroom at KAWC Colorado River Public Media.
Check us out on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook at Hotspot KAWC.
This show is available as a podcast or online at kawc.org under the Shows tab.
The KAWC Student Newsroom is supported by our listeners and by the Local News Initiative at the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona and the Scripps Howard Fund.
Our theme music is Election Time by Kiartan Abel. The Flash Interviews music is Funkmeister by Theo JT. Both are available at freesound.org.
I'm Maya Manry,
I'm Chloe Michael.
bringing the heat to Yuma and La Paz. It's
The Hotspot.